Have you ever found yourself sitting in a quiet room, flipping through channels or scrolling your phone, wondering what's next? The workdays are over, the early alarms are long gone, but something still feels off. It's like the days are slower now, and even though you finally have time, it's not quite as joyful or exciting as you imagined. Retirement was supposed to be relaxing, even freeing, but sometimes the quiet can be too loud and the stillness starts to wear on your mind. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. A lot of people feel this way after retiring. It's not that we don't enjoy the peace, we do. But after years of structure, goals, and responsibilities, suddenly having so much free time can feel a little unsettling. It's easy to fall into patterns of boredom or even sadness, and when the mind isn't active, it can start to feel a little rusty. That spark, that sense of purpose, it needs something new to latch onto. That's why in this video, we're going to talk about 5 hobbies that do more than just pass the time. These activities aren't just fun. They help keep your mind sharp, your heart full, and your days meaningful. They're perfect for anyone over 40, especially if you're retired but still craving a deeper sense of fulfillment. Let's begin with one of the most rewarding hobbies you can pick up, gardening. Now, before you think, I don't have a green thumb, hear me out. Gardening isn't about perfection. It's about connection. When you dig your hands into the earth, you're doing more than planting flowers or vegetables. You're grounding yourself. Studies have shown that gardening reduces stress, improves mood, and even boosts memory. There's something deeply calming about watching something grow because of your care. You don't have to start big. A few pots on your balcony, a raised bed in the yard, or even some herbs on your kitchen window. Watching those little seeds sprout, checking on them each day, it becomes a gentle routine that brings life into your life. And there's more. Gardening subtly teaches patience and presence. You start noticing the small things, the way the light changes in the afternoon, how rain smells on the soil, how tiny sprouts push through with quiet determination. These are the details we often miss when life moves too fast. But now, with time on your side, you can rediscover them. And the best part? You'll be moving, thinking, planning, all while being surrounded by nature. It's a workout for both your body and your brain, but it never feels like one. But maybe you're someone who enjoys a more social atmosphere, something with a little rhythm and movement. In that case, dancing might be just what you're looking for. And no, you don't have to be on Dancing with the Stars to enjoy it. Whether it's ballroom, salsa, line dancing, or just swaying to your favorite tunes in the living room, dancing does wonders for the mind and the mood. Research shows that dancing improves balance, coordination, and memory. It requires you to listen, to move, to react, and sometimes to connect with a partner, all of which activate different parts of the brain. It's not just about the music, it's about how your body responds to it. Dancing is a full body, full mind activity. And here's the beautiful part. It makes you smile. You'll laugh when you miss a step, cheer when you get it right, and feel that lightness in your chest that only joy can bring. Many communities now offer dance classes specifically for seniors. These classes aren't about competition or performance. They're about movement, joy, and connection. But even if you're not in a public classes, just putting on music in the kitchen and letting yourself move is enough. The important thing is to let go of self-consciousness and let yourself enjoy the moment. Remember, you're not trying to impress anyone. You're just giving yourself permission to feel alive. And that brings us to another deeply fulfilling hobby, learning something new. It might sound simple, but the act of learning, really learning, can light up your brain in incredible ways. Whether it's picking up a musical instrument, trying a new language, or taking an online course in a subject you've always found fascinating, the challenge of learning keeps your mind active, alert, and engaged. You see, the brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And when you stretch it with new experiences, new words, new sounds, it grows. It rewires. It remembers how to focus, how to imagine, how to be curious. And that's powerful at any age. One woman I know started learning French at 65, not because she had a trip planned, but because she wanted to surprise her granddaughter who was taking it in school. Every week, she'd practice a few phrases, listen to French songs, and jot down words she liked. That little habit gave her something to look forward to every day. A purpose, a goal, and most importantly, pride. Because she was proving to herself that it's never too late to grow. Whether you're drawn to the rhythm of a new language, the challenge of learning to play piano, or even mastering a new app on your phone, the joy is in the journey. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to begin. Now that we've explored how gardening, dancing, and learning something new can refresh your days and renew your spirit, let's keep going. There's still a couple more meaningful hobbies waiting to bring new light into your life. It's funny how just a small shift in our daily routine can change the entire feel of our day. When you start doing something that excites you, no matter how simple, it brings a sense of purpose that lifts your energy. That's what these hobbies are really about. They aren't chores or obligations. They're invitations to stay mentally awake and emotionally alive. And speaking of that, let's talk about something you might not have considered yet: volunteering. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is volunteering really a hobby? Absolutely. Especially when it becomes something you look forward to, something you build relationships through, and something that feeds your soul as much as your time feeds others. Volunteering isn't just about giving. It's about belonging. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself. When you step into a space where people need help, whether it's reading to children at a library, helping out at a food bank, walking dogs at a shelter, or just offering a listening ear at a senior center, you're not just helping others. You're reminding yourself that your time still matters. Your experience, your patience, your kindness, these things are valuable. In fact, they're priceless. One man I spoke to started volunteering at a local school after retirement. He wasn't a teacher, but he helped students with reading, just a few hours a week. Within a month, he was glowing. Not because it was easy, but because it was meaningful. He told me, for the first time in a long time, I felt needed again. That feeling is powerful. It fills a space that money or entertainment just can't. And it's not just emotional, it's mental too. Volunteering often involves planning, organizing, communicating, and sometimes even problem solving. You stay socially connected, which keeps your mind sharp. You meet new people, learn new systems, and stay on your toes. All of this creates a sense of movement and mental agility without the pressure of a job. It's engagement without stress. And at this stage of life, that balance is golden. But let's say you're more of a quiet soul. Maybe you're not looking for something quite so social. Maybe you're craving a hobby that allows you to express your thoughts, your stories, or even just your observations about life. That brings us to our next meaningful hobby: creative writing or journaling. Writing is one of the most underrated ways to keep your mind healthy and your emotions balanced. Whether it's poetry, short stories, a personal blog, or simply jotting down your daily thoughts in a journal, writing helps you process your life. It's like talking to yourself, but with more clarity. You begin to understand what you're feeling, what you've been through, and what really matters to you. And here's the beauty of it: there are no rules. You don't have to be a writer to write. You just need a notebook, a pen, and a willingness to let your thoughts flow. Some people write letters to loved ones who've passed, finding peace in saying what they never got to say. Others write about their childhood memories, capturing the past for grandchildren who might one day want to know more. And then there are those who write fiction, letting their imagination create characters, places, and adventures that live only in their minds. The act of writing sharpens your language, your memory, your ability to organize thoughts. It's one of the best exercises for the brain, and one of the cheapest too. And emotionally, it's freeing. You're giving your inner world a voice. And sometimes, just seeing your feelings on paper helps you understand them better than any conversation could. If you've ever had a story inside you, or even just a few feelings you never fully unpacked, writing them down can be the beginning of something healing. It doesn't have to be shared. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be honest. When you add hobbies like volunteering and writing into your life, something subtle but powerful begins to shift. You stop counting days and start filling them. You stop thinking about what you've left behind, and you start focusing on what you're still building. Because even in retirement, your life isn't on pause. It's still unfolding. Sometimes, all it takes is that one small step to open the door. A few seeds in the garden, a new dance move, a conversation with a stranger, a page in a journal. They might seem small at first, but they stack up. They bring energy, meaning, and yes, fulfillment. Now, there's still one more hobby I'd love to share with you. One that ties everything together. It speaks to movement, connection, learning, and peace. So let's keep going. There's still one more way to bring joy and sharpness into your everyday life. One of the best things about this stage of life is the chance to finally move at your own pace. No meetings to rush to, no deadlines breathing down your neck. Just time and the freedom to use in a way that feels good. And one of the most beautiful, peaceful ways to use that time is by walking in nature. Not power walking, not rushing with headphones blasting. Just simple, mindful walking, where the point isn't distance, but presence. There's something magical about being outdoors. The fresh air, the sound of leaves underfoot, birds calling from the trees. It brings you back to your senses. It grounds you. And more importantly, it clears your mind. A lot of people underestimate how powerful this kind of walking can be. It's not just exercise, though yes, it's great for your heart and your joints. It's also mental therapy. Studies have shown that walking in green spaces can lower stress, reduce anxiety, improve sleep, and even sharpen your memory. And that's not just science. That's something you can feel. After even just 20 minutes on a trail, or even a quiet park path, you notice your thoughts slow down. Your shoulders drop. You breathe deeper. You remember that life doesn't always need to be loud or fast to be meaningful. I knew a woman who started a ritual of morning walks through her neighborhood garden after her husband passed. At first, it was just something to fill the silence. But over time, those walks became sacred. She'd stop to notice the flowers changing with the seasons. She'd greet the same people each day. Eventually, she started carrying a small notebook, jotting down things she noticed. A bright cardinal, the smell of fresh rain, the way the wind made the leaves dance. Her quiet walks turned into a practice of reflection and gratitude. She told me one day, "I didn't expect it to heal me, but it did." That's the thing about meaningful hobbies. They surprise you. They seem small at first, but they open emotional doors you didn't even realize were closed. And walking in nature does exactly that. It gives you space. Space to think, to breathe, to feel. And in a world that often rushes past the little things, that kind of space is rare and precious. What's even better is that you can turn it into a ritual. You can bring a friend or a grandchild, or go alone and treat it as your time to reset. You can visit different parks, explore nearby trails, or simply walk around your block with new eyes. The point is not how far you go, but how present you are as you go. That presence, that calm, open awareness, is what keeps your mind clear and your heart light. Now, maybe nature walks aren't your style. Maybe you're someone who finds peace and stimulation in another kind of quiet, puzzles, board games, or even learning a new language. And yes, that counts as a hobby too. You're never too old to learn something new, especially something that challenges your brain. In fact, taking on a brain-stretching hobby might be the most important thing you do for your mental sharpness. Whether it's learning chess, trying Sudoku, practicing Spanish, or figuring out how to play an instrument you've always admired, these kinds of hobbies light up areas of your brain that you might not have used in decades. They require focus, memory, pattern recognition, and creative thinking. All the stuff that keeps your brain flexible and alert. You don't have to be a genius. You just have to be curious. Curiosity is what keeps the mind young. And when you're learning something new, even a little bit each day, you start to notice something beautiful. You feel more alive. You start looking forward to the process. You celebrate little victories, like remembering a new word, solving a tricky puzzle, or finally playing that song you've been practicing on the piano. And when things get tough, when the days feel long, or the house feels a bit too quiet, it's these hobbies that bring color back into your life. They don't just keep you busy. They remind you of who you are. Someone capable, someone growing, someone still filled with possibility. So if you've been feeling a little restless lately, know this. It's not a sign that something's wrong. It's a signal that your spirit is craving something more, something deeper than just passing time. And that's a beautiful thing. It means you're still engaged with life, still hungry for meaning. That hunger is a gift. Whether you start writing, walking, volunteering, gardening, painting, learning, or doing a little bit of everything, to start. Because the secret to fulfillment in this chapter of life isn't doing what you should. It's doing what lights you up inside. What brings you peace, purpose, and joy. And here's the best part. It's not too late. It never is. Your best days aren't behind you. They're still unfolding. One hobby, one laugh, one peaceful moment at a time. Here's the truth no one tells you often enough. Getting older isn't the end of discovery. It's the beginning of deeper living. It's when you finally have the space to ask yourself, what do I actually enjoy? What brings me peace? What makes me feel like me again? And maybe, just maybe, that thing is something you've never tried before. Take painting, for example. You don't need to be an artist or even have a steady hand. You just need a brush, some colors, and a little curiosity. Painting has this magical way of connecting your emotions to your fingertips. It's not about perfection. It's about expression. About giving form to feelings that don't always have words. And in the quiet rhythm of each stroke, something wonderful happens. Your thoughts settle. Your breath slows. The world shrinks down to just you, the colors, and the canvas. Whether it's watercolor, acrylic, or even simple sketching, creative hobbies like this give you a gentle, joyful way to stay present. They strengthen the parts of your brain responsible for focus, memory, and spatial reasoning. And more importantly, they give your heart a place to rest, a way to feel proud, playful, even a little surprised at what you can create. I once met a man in his 70s who started painting birds after retiring from a corporate job. He'd never painted before, but one day his daughter gave him a small art set and said, "You used to love watching the cardinals in the backyard. Why don't you try painting one?" It started as a quiet experiment and turned into a full-blown passion. Within a year, his walls were filled with blue jays, hummingbirds, owls, each one unique, full of life. He told me, "I never knew I had this in me, and now I can't stop." That's the joy of trying something new. You never know what part of yourself you'll meet along the way. So whether it's painting, writing, walking, gardening, or learning a new skill, whatever it is, give yourself permission to try, to start small, to be bad at it at first. Because the goal isn't mastery. The goal is meaning, connection, and joy. And if you're sitting there thinking, "I'm too old to start something new," I want you to gently let go of that thought. Because it's simply not true. Some of the most inspiring people I've ever met found their greatest passions after 60, even 70. And many of them would say the same thing. "I wish I'd started sooner." But here's the thing, you're not late. You're right on time. The time is now. Not when the weather is better. Not when things quiet down. Not when you feel ready. Now. Today. Even if it's just 10 minutes of something that brings you joy. That's where it begins. And if you feel a little unsure, start by asking yourself a simple question. What have I always wanted to do, but never gave myself the chance? That one question can unlock so much. Maybe you always wanted to play the piano. Maybe you dreamed of writing your family story. Maybe you've secretly wanted to dance, to knit, to photograph nature, to build model trains, to bake from scratch. Whatever it is, let that dream breathe a little. You've earned a right to explore it, because your life is not winding down. It's unfolding in a new direction. One filled with freedom, peace, and possibilities. So here's my gentle nudge to you. Don't settle for boredom. Don't shrink your days to just the basics. Expand them. Fill them with color, curiosity, and things that make you feel truly alive. You have so much wisdom, so many stories, so much heart. Let your hobbies become a way of sharing that. With yourself, with others, with the world. And if something doesn't stick, try something else. This season of life isn't about perfection. It's about discovery, about finding what makes you feel whole. You've got more time than you think, more creativity than you know, and more potential than you've even begun to tap into. So go ahead, try that new thing. Make a little mess. Laugh at your mistakes. Feel proud of your progress. And remember this, you're not restless because something's wrong. You're restless because you still care. You still want to live, not just exist. And that, my friend, is something to celebrate. If this video sparked an idea, reminded you of a dream, or simply made you smile, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about a hobby that's brought you joy, or one you've always wanted to try. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more inspiring, heart-centered content made just for you. Your journey matters, and I'm so glad we're on it together. Here's to living with purpose, curiosity, and joy at any age.